Good morning, Year 1, and welcome to our third English lesson for the week. Today, we're going to be having a look at some instructions, deciding which ones are good and which ones could be improved. But before we start that, we've got a grammar lesson to go through. So get your whiteboards and pens ready, and when you're ready, start the video again. Okay, so like yesterday, we're going to be recapping on what makes a good sentence. So quickly tell your grown-up what's involved in a sentence, and when you're ready, grown-up, start the video again. So well done, Year 1. You should need to be starting with a capital letter. You need to be finishing your sentence with a full stop. You need to be using finger spaces to show where words end and the next word begins. You need to be writing on lines, and lastly, you need to make sure your sentence makes sense. So today, you're going to be having a look at another stimuli, and you're going to be writing as many sentences as you can about it. So here we go. Today, we've got a picture of a fruit tree. If you want to, you could draw it later maybe and label it, but you've got to work out what feature is where, and then you're going to write some sentences describing what goes on. Grown-ups, it's up to you how long this lasts, but probably 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so when you're ready, start the video again. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at how good instructions are. Now, when we do this in class normally, we actually use these instructions to have a go at playing this game, and then we can work out how it does. So depending on how many people you can get in your family, you might be able to just about play this if everybody's at home. So first instruction is first sit in a big circle. Next, choose someone to stand up. Next, walk around the circle and tap people on the head saying duck. 4, choose someone and tap them on the head and say goose. 5, the goose chases the person all around the circle at once. So talk to your grown-up and decide how well those instructions would work. And if you want to act them out, that may make it easier. Okay, so when you're ready, grown-ups, start the video again. Okay, so generally speaking, and I think you might agree, these are pretty good instructions. Start with you sit in a circle. Yeah, that's quite easy. That's quite clear. Then you choose someone to stand up again. That's quite clear. And then that person needs to be walking around. Perhaps that could have been a bit clearer. Next, tell the person to walk around the circle and tap people on the head saying duck. Then it's not clear exactly who chooses someone's and taps them and becomes goose. So again, you might have then the person chooses someone and taps them on the head to say goose. And then finally, there's actually, I think there's a line missing here, because the goose doesn't, the person saying who started it doesn't actually know they have to run away. So what you need to do is then say something along the lines of, then as soon as the person's been tapped, start running. And then the goose chases the person all around the circle once. Okay, so it was pretty good. Probably 5 out of 6 with things were right. Okay, now we're going to have a look at some other instructions, and you've got to decide how good these are. Okay, so this set of instructions is for washing your hands. Turn on the tap, get some soap, wash your hands, turn the tap off. So have a think about and tell your grown-up how good these were. And if you don't think they were brilliant, try to say what was missing. Okay, grown-ups, so pause the video until you're ready to go on. And it's completely up to you how well you think these were. I would have said they were generally okay, because although they tell you how to start the process and what you need to wash your hands, they don't really describe how to wash your hands. So that would be the area to improve, in my opinion. Now we're going to have a look at another set of instructions. Now this set of instructions applies to our computer room. So it assumes you've got to the computer room. How well do you think you'd do if you were given this instruction? Go to the computer, switch the computer on, log on. So talk to your grown-up and decide how good these were. And when you're ready, grown-up, start the video again. Okay, now I'd actually say, I don't know what you feel, but I think these instructions were bad, very bad, in fact, because does it tell you where to switch the computer on? Does it tell you how to log on? No, I think there's a lot of information missing here, especially in our school. You need to know that you actually have to bend down and crawl under the computer screen to switch the computer on. You'd need to know what to log on with. You'd need to know that you type our class's name, year 1, and then you'd need to know what password to type. And then you still need to know to press return to actually start, or press the OK button to actually start the computer running. So overall, can you see how these instructions, although they've managed to get good bossy verbs, go, switch, log on, they don't actually provide half the information you need. So last thing I want you to look at is an example of a set of instructions. And I want you to think about what might be missing from it. So, 1, when the whistle goes, line up. 2, hang your stuff on the peg. Go to the toilet if you need to. After that, put your book bag in the box. 5, get a handwriting sheet from the carpet. 6, finally sit down at your desk and start your handwriting. Right, I think there are at least 3 mistakes there. So I want you to tell your grown-up what they are, and when you're ready, grown-up, start the video again and we'll correct them. Okay, so welcome back, year 1. The first problem is goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So we should have a number to tell us the next instruction. So we should have 3 here. Now the next one is something you know I forget from time to time, year 1. If you look on section 5, get a handwriting sheet from the carpet. What needs to be on the end there? That's right, a full stop. And then there's one other big mistake. Have a look at the last sentence. What's missing? Well done, it should be a capital. Now you could also argue that actually we could move all this down. Because we've missed out a whole step. You could argue that we could put an extra step in here. And that step is put your book in the tray on your table. Nonetheless, overall, that's a pretty good set of instructions. And what makes it particularly good today is the way that numbering is being used at the start to help you know what order to follow the instructions. Okay, to finish with, I want you to have a go at improving these party game instructions. So what you need to do is you need to work out what you're going to add to it, and you're going to write it out, adding things like numbers, maybe adding additional information if it needs it, and making sure that you've got full stops at the end of sentences and any other features you think would be particularly good. And if you want to be particularly clever, you could also underline all the bossy verbs in your sentences just for emphasis. Okay, so that's the end of today's English lesson. It's over to you, and we'll be ready for our final lesson of the week tomorrow.